Next on KQED Newsroom, what will San Francisco voters decide to do with a prime sliver of land overlooking the bay?
I think it's going to help bring in revenue, and it will provide parking.
Job growth is up in the Bay Area, but so are housing costs. Who's being priced out and what can be done about it? Plus, billionaire Mark Benioff, the force behind Salesforce.com, on creating a culture of giving back.
So on your first day of work at Salesforce.com, you come in, we show you where the toilet is, we show you where the kitchen is, and then at noon you go out and do something for the city of San Francisco.
Good evening and welcome to KQED Newsroom. I'm Thuy Vu. On Tuesday, San Francisco voters will decide the fate of a controversial waterfront development near the city's ferry building. If propositions B and C are approved, 134 units of luxury condos will be built there, along with space for small businesses, a public park, and other amenities. Scott Schaefer takes a look at why a development on a small parcel of land dubbed 8 Washington Street is sparking such a big debate.
There's one thing all sides in this debate agree on. Today, this plot of land is hardly inviting. A private fitness club surrounded by a large fence and an asphalt parking lot. But what should replace it? Voters' answer to that question Tuesday could shape the course of waterfront development for years to come. Project supporter Tim Colon sees two options with an easy choice.
One is to keep what we have that generates about $100,000 a year for the city, versus a wonderful project. It builds housing, it builds a large amount of new public open space that doesn't exist now.
One of the most contentious issues is the height. After years of public meetings and approval by the San Francisco Port, Planning Commission, and Board of Supervisors, developers got permission to build some of the structures 134 feet in the air, 12 stories up. Former San Francisco Mayor Art Agnos is a leading critic of the project.
Well, I think this project is the first brick in what appears to be a new wall made of steel and glass.
As mayor, Agnos led the charge to demolish the Embarcadero Freeway and open up the waterfront. He sees the proposed development as a giant step backwards.
The old Embarcadero Freeway we took down 22 years ago was a concrete monster half the size of what this building is proposed to be. And it creates a precedent on the waterfront, a new precedent of busting through height limits and bulk limits. It threatens the waterfront accessibility for all of San Francisco.
But speaking for the Yes on Props B and C campaigns, Tim Colon of the San Francisco Housing Action Coalition says the design of 8 Washington fits the surrounding buildings, including the 22-story Golden Gateway apartments next door. It's time, Colon says, to put this plot of land to better use.
When the freeway came down, that gave us a once-in-a-generation opportunity to use waterfront land in better, more imaginative ways. So when folks say we've got to preserve our precious waterfront, I'm not exactly sure what city they're talking about, because the land is so valuable to us that we use it to park our cars on.
As part of the deal, developers will put $11 million toward the construction of affordable housing somewhere else in the city. But former Mayor Agnos says developers are now driving the city's housing policies, with little interest in building housing the average San Franciscan can buy.
I think that this project is the canary in the mine. I think that if this project goes forward as planned for millionaire housing at $5 million average a condo, it is the death knell of middle class and affordable housing in this city, because it sets a precedent, not only on the waterfront, but elsewhere in the city where desirable lots exist for rich people's housing.
This battle comes in the midst of a building boom that is driving housing prices up and out of reach for many. For that reason, this project has taken on greater meaning, says University of San Francisco political science professor Corey Cook.
On the one hand, it's actually a pretty small issue on a pretty small plot of land, But I think, symbolically and politically, it's really emerged in this much bigger, more complex question about, the economic growth in the city and the future of housing in the city.
Adding to the intensity of the debate, Cook adds, is the location, a San Francisco waterfront many see as the city's backyard.
I mean, the waterfront has become sort of the jewel of the city, and a lot of people, I think, view this as their neighborhood.
After an exhaustive approval process, opponents put Prop C on the ballot as a referendum on the project. Supporters responded with their own ballot measure, Prop B. In this off-year election, turnout is likely to be low, but San Franciscans we talked to seem to be paying close attention. Judith Wilson-Pates says she'd like to see a different kind of development there.
More affordable housing, middle income, and et cetera.
I actually think it's a smart development for the city. I think it's going to help bring in revenue, and it will provide parking.
If either Prop B or C pass, the project moves forward. If they both fail, city planners will go back to the drawing board.
And those themes being played out in San Francisco hit home in many Bay Area cities. The struggle with high housing costs and the crisis that presents. We held a series of town hall meetings this fall called Open Newsroom. We heard similar worries in every county we visited, from Santa Clara to Marin.
We go and look at rentals. There are anywhere between 8 and 15 other families there looking. I've also been applying for low-income housing. If the wait list is even open, it's 2 months to 2 years long.
What we're very deeply concerned about is where are these seniors, us? Where are we going to go? Can we even remain in Silicon Valley?
Tonight, a deeper look into what it means to be priced out, the impact it has on communities, and possible solutions. For analysis, we're joined by Carlos Romero, an affordable housing consultant, Linda Mandolini with Eden Housing in Hayward, and Carolyn Saeed, San Francisco Chronicle real estate reporter. Carolyn, let's begin with you for a quick overview of housing costs. How dramatic is the rise in rents and home prices?
It's been dramatic on both counts. It's been double digits. They're really up by at least 20% year over year. Housing has, turned around on a dime after the downturn scraped along a little bit and has been rising. And now the median housing price in the Bay Area is over $500,000 to buy. The median price to rent is over $3,000 a month in San Francisco and over $2,000 a month in San Jose and Oakland. So those are huge things. Housing, for sale housing is probably going to moderate. There's several things happening. Rising interest rates will rein it in. More inventory is coming on the market as prices rise. More people who were sitting on the sidelines or who are underwater are putting their homes on the market, and now there is some more inventory. So that will level off, but it's leveling off at over $500,000 for the Hope area and over $800,000 in Silicon Valley as a median. So it's going to level off, but at a high level.
So, Carlos, you're a consultant. You've worked with both developers and governments on housing policy issues. Is there an end in sight?
Well, again, it's a segmented market. So the market is producing housing for the higher end. It is middle income and lower income folks that are really priced out. And I think what we need to do is look at strategies that both locally, regionally, and statewide provide additional housing subsidy to developers like Linda Mandolini. There are many of them actually in the Bay Area that are very good, that could then meet that segment of the market that is not being addressed. And I think we just heard a testimony in one of your pieces about affordability.
And when we say affordable housing, Linda, we should specify that there are two types of affordable housing, right? There's the subsidized, government subsidized housing for very, very low income families. And then there's the more general issue of affordability to the rest of us. Can we afford to buy a home in the Bay Area, even with middle incomes?
And I think it ranges on both ends, right? For the subsidized housing, that typically serves people that make between $12,000 and $60,000 a year, and their rents range from $300 a month to $1,500 a month. But it doesn't get to the $3,000 price tag that Carolyn was talking about. It's really hard for those families to rent at $3,000. But then to buy a house when the median price is $500,000 plus, you need substantial income and you need $50,000 in down payment minimum. So it's a real challenge in this region just to get into the housing market. And if you think about it, how do you buy a house? You live in an affordable apartment, you save up enough money so that you can save for the down payment so that you can buy the house. If you can't afford the rent, you can't save for the down payment, so you're stuck. You're trapped in the middle.
It's like a catch-22. And you work with families every day at Eden Housing. You manage affordable housing. What kind of impact is this having on families economically and also health-wise? There are some health effects.
Yeah, well, it's a huge challenge. We have 15,000 people on our waiting list right now.
15,000?
So they're challenged. I mean, everybody, when that woman was talking about, 2 years to move up into a home, it's a huge challenge for folks just to get into affordable housing right now. And when you look at the impacts on families, so if kids are living in substandard housing, if they've got mold, or they're living in a dangerous neighborhood, there's huge health challenges for children. There's a doctor at Boston University who's actually studied the impacts of housing on children, and she likes to say that it's a vaccine. That if you give a child a safe, affordable home, you inoculate them for future success, health, and education. So they have a stable place, they're healthy, and they have an opportunity to do their homework so they can go to school every day.
So that sounds good. How do we achieve a solution here? What are the impediments to the solution, and how do we move beyond that, Carolyn?
Well, money. I mean, I'm sure Linda and Carlos can both talk about this quite a bit, but affordable housing subsidies from the state of California are basically have evaporated with the loss of redevelopment agencies. A huge pot of money came from redevelopment, and then there was some other money that was passed by voters in 2008 is now almost gone. So they desperately need a new source of revenue. There is some federal money, but that's not going to be enough. And I think they'll probably both be the ones to talk about the Home and Jobs Act, which would create that source of revenue for them.
Well, actually, Mark DeSaulnier has introduced some legislation to help with that.
Yeah, SB 391, the California Homes and Jobs Act. It's a terrific piece of legislation that would generate between $300 and $500 million a year to help create affordable housing. Both.
How would it do that, though?
So it's a document recording fee. So when you refinance your house, you would pay a $75 fee on the refinancing, and that would be put into a pool that would then be invested in affordable apartments and affordable homes. So it would create down payment assistance programs for folks who want to buy their first house, and would also create subsidies so folks like Eden who need to build new housing for low-income families to rent could actually use some of that subsidy to build new housing.
I would imagine there might be some pushback, though, from real estate folks or that sector.
Yes, interestingly, the realtors supported the bill last year, but now they're not supporting it, which has been a real challenge. They don't want any more fees on the recording of real estate transactions. We actually think there's a lot of folks who do support it. The business groups all over the state, from the Silicon Valley Leadership Group to the Orange County Business Council, are all in favor of this because affordable housing matters to job growth. You can't just employ engineers who make $300,000 a year in your companies. You have to employ the folks at the lower levels, and they need to live closer to their jobs.
Well, I was going to say that, but that's also where local coalition building comes in, because at the county level, you can do document fees also, you can do transfer taxes. And I think that if you can get labor together with the affordable housing folks, with people who are interested in parks and open space, and actually come up with a coalition of folks to put a measure on in your county that might be a transfer tax that could be divided up among the various uses, could be transportation. I think that those local coalitions can actually be very strong in passing, getting you to the 66% threshold.
It is a dilemma, though, right? Because we need growth, we need development for jobs, for economic stimulation, but then there are always those sectors that have opposition because of environmental concerns, gentrification concerns. How do you compromise and move beyond all that? Yeah. Is it purely a policy issue?
Well, a lot is policy driven, but San Francisco is trying a few creative things that might be able to be replicated elsewhere. One thing is a pilot project in the Castro to try to legalize in-law units. These are existing units. So many places in San Francisco have a basement or backyard garage that was converted into an apartment. They're already there. If they were legalized, they could be, a better source of housing for people who can't afford as much. And now we're talking market rate housing. Another thing on market rate housing is San Francisco's experiment with micro units, these very small apartments. Developers can build them more cheaply, and they would rent more cheaply. And so sure, not everybody wants to live in something the size of a shoebox, but young single people often are willing to make that trade-off to live in a smaller space, to be closer to their job, and maybe they would move out of a flat that they'd been sharing with roommates, and that flat would be available for a family to rent. So there are these are slightly policy driven, but it's kind of a combination of policy and development hand in hand.
And in fact, there's a larger vision, Plan Bay Area, and it was developed by ABAG, the Association of Bay Area Governments, and the Metropolitan
MTC,
Transportation
correct,
Commission
Metropolitan.
to come up with housing solutions, and it's planned out through 2040. But even that now is facing multiple lawsuits by groups that complain that it violates certain environmental regulations.
Correct, but it hasn't been enjoined, so at this point it is moving forward. I mean, yes, it concentrates 62% of all of the future housing development within 15 cities, but cities where it makes sense, where there's an intersection with transportation and the land use is right so that you can go a little higher, so that indeed you don't do the sprawl. Because many of us live in the Bay Area because it's a beautiful place to live, because we've actually been able to create kind of sustainable greenscapes around us. And if we want to keep that quality of life, we have to rethink the way we indeed build in the future. And I think Plan Bay Area does exactly that. And we have to continue to move forward to implement it. And yes, it has its flaws, both on the equity side. I mean, people may get displaced, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to fix that. And some people may not want taller buildings in their downtowns, but again, it's a trade-off for a quality of life issue.
Okay, well, certainly interesting, a complex issue. I wish we had much more time to debate it, but I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you all. For now, we do have to wrap it up, but KQED will continue its ongoing series, Priced Out. For updates, please go to kqed.org/priced out. I want to thank my guests, Carlos Romero, Carolyn Said, and Linda Mandolino. Still ahead, a glimpse of upcoming stories we're working on. But first, high-tech innovator and philanthropist Mark Benioff of Salesforce.com. One reason for San Francisco's booming economy is companies like Salesforce.com, a leading maker of cloud computing products for businesses. Its growth has been explosive. Co-founder and CEO Mark Benioff is a local boy made good. The Bay Area native and former Oracle employee has earned a fortune and feels an obligation to give back. In fact, Benioff has made corporate philanthropy part of the business plan. His foundation recently donated nearly $3 million to San Francisco's middle schools for teacher training, wireless access, and iPads for students. In 2010, he donated $100 million to the UCSF Children's Hospital. Scott Schaefer has our interview.
Mark Benioff, welcome to KQED Newsroom.
Thanks, great to be here.
You are a fourth-generation San Franciscan, born here, grew up on the peninsula. You were born in the mid-'60s. A lot was going on then. How did that impact you and the way you look at the world?
Well, I love the Bay Area and I love San Francisco. I just feel like we live in a nirvana here. I mean, it's amazing. You just look at the incredible weather that we enjoy and the beautiful vistas that we enjoy and the amazing people. On top of that, you get the unbelievable innovation that comes out of these universities and the communities and draws so many interesting people from all over the world.
What about you as a kid or even as a young man? I mean, was there something that that clicked for you that really made you the person you are today in terms of the way you look at the world of business and the world of corporate responsibility?
What I was really influenced by was my own family and their contributions that they were making here in the Bay Area. And
your dad was grandfather was a member of the Board of Supervisors, I think.
My grandfather was a supervisor and very active here in the city of San Francisco and came up even with the Bay Area Rapid Transit, which is very cool, part of his legacy. And really my whole family is just very committed to giving back. And I think that, of course, impacts you when you're a kid, that you are thinking, okay, yes, I'm going to be successful. Yes, I'm going to make money. Yes, I'm going to create a company. But how am I going to make the world a better place? And these things have to work together.
How do you create that corporate culture? Because not all Silicon Valley, not all high-tech companies have that. In fact, many don't.
Well, it was a big breakthrough for me. I had attended this amazing conference in 1997, and it was chaired by Colin Powell, and he said, hey, all you corporate chieftains, get out there and do something for somebody else. And use your relationships, your technology, and your money, and make the world better. Just don't reap the harvests here and around the world. And I took that back and said, when I start my own company, I'm going to take 1% of our equity, 1% of our profit, and 1% of all of our employees' time and put it into a 501c3 charity. Now, it was easy because we had no profit, we had no equity, we had no time.
Now you've got to put up. But you were with Oracle, right, in '97, and you found that even though there may have been a desire to do that kind of giving, it wasn't part of the corporate culture.
Well, that's very insightful, actually. That's why we said when we started Salesforce, we're going to integrate it. So on your first day of work at Salesforce.com, you come in, we show you where the toilet is, we show you where the kitchen is, and then at noon, you go out and do something for the city of San Francisco. You go to a homeless shelter, you go to a soup kitchen, you go and do something for somebody else.
You recently got a lot of attention for giving a $2.7 million gift to the 12 middle schools in San Francisco. They're going to get tablets, they're going to get Wi-Fi access, and the teachers are going to get, I think, $100,000 to, or the principals rather, to divvy up the way they see fit. What impact is that going to have on education?
City of San Francisco school system is just an awesome target for philanthropy right now because so many individuals and organizations have made big commitments to the school district. You walk into these schools, they're great places, but now corporations and nonprofits need to invest more into the schools, and that's what we're doing, because technology by itself is not going to make a difference. It's about a full package. It's about the investment, it's about the people, and it's about the technology. It's about this new generation of blended learning.
San Francisco, you live here, you know, is experiencing a tech boom. People want to live here. Housing prices are going through the roof. Business is doing well. The unemployment rate is low. At the same time, there's a concern that San Francisco is becoming unaffordable. I mean, it became unaffordable for the poor quite a while ago, but even now the working class, teachers, nurses, bus drivers are having a hard time buying a home in San Francisco. Is that something that you think people like you should worry about, or do you worry about it?
I think a lot about that because San Francisco is a small place. We have a very finite piece of land here, 7 miles by 7 miles square. It is a nirvana. But you know, all these great tech companies, we have one message to them: you're going to come here, you better be ready to give back. Because
but how do
our
they give
schools
back
and
in
our
a way
kids,
that makes it more affordable? Is there anything that can be done, or is that not really the job of corporations?
Well, I think one way that we can do it is by impacting the schools, just like we're talking about here. You know, we want to make sure that the people who are living here can go to great public schools. Why can't we have the best public schools in the nation?
Do you think that there's a problem in politics that our leaders just aren't thinking big enough?
I think that it's really hard because over time, you know, you're in a position of leadership, or you're in a philanthropic organization, or you're involved specifically with schools, and you get beaten down over time because not all the things always work out. That's why you always have to keep a beginner's mind and start again and say, we can do it, and we can make this successful, and we can make it more successful than last time.
Quick question about where technology and politics come together. Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, we're seeing huge problems with the healthcare portals that people are going to for the healthcare exchanges, not so much the one run by California, but the ones that are nationally run. What do you make of that? The fact that they seem to have been just totally unprepared.
The government's not going fast enough to new technology. Instead of building it on this thing that we invented here in San Francisco called the cloud.
They didn't ask you.
They didn't ask us, and they didn't ask anyone associated with the cloud to help them, and instead they're building these old on-premise systems that are not scaling, and they've got themselves into a pickle on that one.
Last question I want to ask you about your grandmother, who is 100 years old, I understand, Freddie. Tell me about her and what influence she's had on you.
Well, my grandmother had a phenomenal impact on me, and you're right, she'll be 101 this year, so your research is really good. I'll tell you that when I was growing up and I was just getting involved in business and in computers, she was really by my side the whole way. I was working at this jewelry shop in Burlingame and polishing the cases, and she came to me and said, you know what, you make enough money and we'll buy that $500 computer and I'll match you. So you make $250, I'll give you $250. And in fact, we went to that Radio Shack store in Burlingame and we bought that first computer that changed my life.
Mark Benioff, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Scott Schaefer is here now for a look at what's coming up on KQED News next week. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Twee.
So we've got an election coming up on November 5th.
On Tuesday, we do, and there's a ballot measure in Sunnyvale that we're actually keeping a close eye on, Measure C, a gun control measure. Guns very much in the news today with the shooting at LAX, and last week the shooting of that 13-year-old boy up in Santa Rosa. And so this measure, Measure C, would require people to report gun thefts if their gun is stolen within 48 hours, ban those high-capacity magazines, that kind of thing.
And this is happening in Sunnyvale, small town, low crime rate, and yet it's attracting a lot of national attention. It's the NRA is on it. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg has contributed to the campaign. Why is that?
Well, because these local measures they're symbolic to a certain extent, but they also can make their way up to the federal courts and all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, in fact. The NRA is already saying this is unconstitutional, violates the Second Amendment, and they say that they're almost daring Sunnyvale to pass it, and so it could very well well end up going up the federal court system and, costing money to defend as well.
Yeah, and you referred to this earlier, the Santa Rosa shooting, that of course involving Andy Lopez, the 13-year-old boy. Lots of community outrage and anger over this.
Yeah, well, there was an outpouring of grief that's now turned into anger. There are community meetings this weekend, which we're going to be keeping track of, and into next week as well. Questions of, how did it happen? Why did it happen? What can we do to prevent it from happening? And the name of the sheriff deputy who shot him has now been released, and people are talking about him. So it's raised a lot of issues about guns, toy guns that look like real guns, Latino community representation on the school board and in the sheriff's department. So a lot of community discussion happening right now up there.
And also, people are bringing up Trayvon Martin, Oscar Grant, some traces of that.
Another, young person of color being shot by police, or in this case, a sheriff's deputy, and questions being raised. Would it have happened under different circumstances if he was, a white teenager, for example?
Yeah. And let's return to the South Bay for another election measure, another campaign. But next June in 2014, Ro Khanna versus Maikonda, already attracting a lot of attention.
Absolutely. A 7-term incumbent, Maikonda, very popular. Both Democrats. Ro Khanna is an up-and-coming young lawyer. Was within the Obama administration. Has a lot of tech money. So you've got another case of a young up-and-comer challenging a entrenched Democrat, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. We had something like that in the East Bay last year. Eric Swalwell knocked off Pete Stark because of the open primary, the two Democrats ending up facing off against each other in November. So we'll be watching that. We're going to have a profile of that race next week.
And very interesting that two Asian Americans pitted against each other in the only district in the United States with a majority Asian American population.
You're going to see a lot of divided loyalties, and Maikonda in an internment camp as a young kid. Yeah. So real personal stories that are going to be very much part of this campaign.
Definitely want to watch. Scott, thank you.
You bet.
And we want to also invite you to send us your comments and story ideas to KQED Newsroom at kqed.org. That does it for tonight. I'm Thuy Vu. Thanks for watching.
And I'm Scott Schaefer. Good night.